My wife is sick of hearing that. It's my gift, honey. It's because of my gift. Sorry. They don't see the humor in it. No. So with Shine, what we're trying to do is actually, let me go back to the mission of Atlantis, is we have three truths. Truth number one is that the number one defining characteristic of your health and well-being is your belief system. Truth number two is because your beliefs dictate your actions. And truth number three is that basically your beliefs are dictated from the people around you. And you happen to live in the United States. United States ranks dead last out of the top 50 healthiest countries in the world. We're dead last based on life expectancy. So what everybody believes around you, what is driving your belief system about ADHD, about what to eat, if dairy's good for us, if wheat's good or flour's good, these belief systems that everybody's driving what you do on a daily basis to wake up, ranks 50. So we're coming in with Atlantis, and with Shine is offering a new approach, is offering kind of new hope to say, all right, look, this is where we have been going. We know that we're going down the wrong path. We take more and more medication we take 57% of all of the medication on the planet in the United States. We consume that much of it. We're going down the wrong path. So there needs to be a different approach, and that is really what I'm focused on with Shine, and that's what I'm focused on with Atlantis. And I'm going to bring the best of the best to this community. So when we talk about ADHD, all of it is ADHD. So the terminology of ADD, it's basically ADHD without the hyperactivity. So you can have a child that is sitting down that doesn't have the hyperactive part, but is still distractible or still has impulsiveness. And there are three cardinal traits to ADHD. The first one is, in really for something to be defined in termed ADHD, or to know that you have it, because everybody's distracted, everybody has, some sort of impulsiveness, a lot of people, we have energy, right? But when does it actually become an issue? And it becomes an issue when there's really unexplained underachievement. So when you're capable of so much more, or your child's brilliant and they're just not able to exceed to that level. When the child's saying stuff, I'm just bored. I know all the information, and they're just not able to exceed to that level. So it's when the distractibility becomes an issue where it's interfering in your life, or the impulsiveness becomes an issue where it's interfering with your life. Because there's no blood test, there's no MRI to determine this. There are TOVA scores, or there are scores you can test, but they're subjective really in nature. So, but what you want to do is you want to take these traits, and then what we want to do is take these traits and see if they're interfering. And you don't have to have the diagnosis to know your child. I want to let you know that. You know your children. So in the program Shine isn't specifically just for kids with ADHD, because it's for kids with any type of learning disability, because a lot of these things that we've built into it are to improve brain function. I'm going to tell you why that's important. In telling a child, I love the statement that I got from Ned, in telling a child to concentrate more or try harder, it's almost like telling a child that's nearsighted to squint harder. It's just, they believe they are trying as hard as they can. It's actually, it's what's going on upstairs in the brain that isn't, they're not making those connections. Like, for instance, a child leaves, like my room's a mess, right? So let's say my room's a mess, and you can tell me as much as I want. I shouldn't go. I'm building this structure. Sorry. See, this is be good. This is worth the price of admission, right? This is not. So you can't blame everything on your ADD, okay? Your ADHD. It can't be done. You just have to build the structure in to be able to do it. But your room's a mess. You have so many better things to do than to put things here neatly, and you want to be out the door to do something else. It's because your brain's going. Your brain will think of things very trivially. trivially. Your brain will think of things very trivially. See, look, I can't even say I'm talking so fast. No, but then over here you'll be very, very hyper-focused. So a lot of times, let's say you're into, it's a condition of paradoxes, right? You can be so unfocused over here, and then you can be over here, and like if you're tinkering because you have that creativity type of mind, and you want to pull this apart, and then somebody's trying to talk to you, and you can't break their concentration because they're so hyper-focused. So if the child's in a so for instance, let's go back to my childhood. Now I'm in organic chemistry. I loved it. Came easy to me. A's. I didn't even have to study for it. Exercise physiology, those types of mechanics, A's. It came very easy to me because I was focused on it, and it was very easy for me to do it. Theater 100. A high school student could have taken it. I got a CD in it because it just didn't, it never did. And then physics. If I take a ball, right, this is how we think with this mind. I take a ball and I throw it to the wall. This ball, some science would tell me, or mathematics, it will travel half the distance from me to that wall for infinity. Doesn't make sense. It hits the wall. And so I'd write stuff. You're flawed. This is flawed. Or if a car's traveling this way and this way, I like wind resistance. What kind of tires are on the car? I mean, I'm thinking about all these other things because the person with ADHD is a very practical thinker. They think in big terms. There's a lot of big things that come into play, so it's not simple for them. So it's very difficult. I'm talking from experience right now because I have that type of mind. But I'm going to teach you how to harness that energy. Now, this is really one of my key slides here. This really ultimately explains the ADHD brain, where you look at this brain as this Ferrari, this race car for an engine. You're talking about a massive amount of power that this brain has potential to do. And then I'm thinking, I've already finished a lecture right now, and I've already said, hey, how you doing? Thank you for coming. I mean, that's how far ahead I am right now. I got to slow back and come back into my own brain. So, and then you have bicycle brakes. So once this impulsiveness gets going, the brain can't stop. They can't stop the momentum because you only have bicycle brakes, and those brakes really set into a specific part of the brain, and that is ultimately what the Shine program is all about. It's about building these brakes. It's really building the brakes so we can take that energy, put it in the right direction, and know when we're doing the wrong things how to stop. And it has been so beneficial in my life to be able to, because it's so against my grain to be able to do this, but to build that structure and really, really has helped me. And one last sign on this. Let's take these negatives real quick and let's turn these around and see what the positives are, right? Because too many times when people think about ADHD, they think about the negatives. They think about the distractibility. But if you take distractibility and you turn it on its head, what do you get? Curiosity, right? Curiosity. You're so curious because you're distracted over, you're not thinking about that. You're curious about what's going on over here. I was the kid that took everything apart because I need to undo it. I need to see how the thing worked. It's curiosity. Very good with your hands. Impulsivity, what do you get? Creativity. Very, very, very creative. Things that come out of these kids' mouths, they really will blow your mind. On how they think. And they think about things like there are these little like pictures in their brain, then they put these things together into really weird, convoluted little stories. Very good personalities they have. Let's just put it that way. And then hyperactivity, energy. I would not trade it for the world to have the amount of energy that I have. I wouldn't do it because everybody is looking for energy. Everybody is. We're on a constant quest to find energy. I feel phenomenal having this much energy. But when a kid's sitting in school, doesn't know how to harness the brakes, and is very impulsive, and this energy is all over the place, it will drive this ship into trouble. And that really is my passion behind Shine, is to take what I know and to not treat this thing as a disability, but treat it as unwrapping in this gift that they have and being able to show them how to use it based on the experiences in my knowledge that I know as a doctor and as a nutritionist and as an exercise physiologist. So really what's helped me out quite a bit? Rock climbing. So I build that into the program. Ropes course. So I build that into the program. Exercise. So I build that into the program. Eating gluten-free. So I build that into the program. So, and I'll show you how all of these things work. But, you know, getting outside and doing these types of things really is the best thing you can do for a child. Find something that they want, and then we push them into there, and we really find out what their passion is. So we're going to be doing some things like sentence completion. I feel like I'm at my best when I'm doing this. I am bored when I'm doing this. So really get into their heads and find out what these children's passions are, and then move them into those directions. And one thing that I really did forget to mention is if your child has it, guess what? There's somebody in the upper family that does have it too. So the apple does not fall from the, does not. Can I get some nitric balance? I think that would be great. No, I'm all set. The apple does not fall far at all. And so our Shine program is built in layers. And really the most important layer that we have is the bottom layer. It's the neuroefficiencies, which is the B right. That is the nervous system part. I'll be talking about that in a second. Then we have these neural integrated movements, you know, increasing proprioceptive, and these very specific movements that we do to be able to increase the brain fiber communication. I'll talk about that in a second too. And then the metabolic shift. A lot of people start with the diet. Diet, I'm not going to lie to you guys, is extremely important. But this is a hierarchy where the most important part is to get the neurology set, then work into the motor system, and then work into the metabolic.